Right, here we are. I think it's the end of turn 10. I might have made a mistake with some of the naming in a couple of the videos, but let's just have a look at this. Because we started at the last week of June, so there's 1 week there, and then we've had 4 weeks in July, 4 weeks in August, and we've had 1 week in September, and we're now in the second week of September. So that's 8, 9, 10 we've had. And it's the Germans' turn, and it's still fine weather. And yeah, I mean, this is probably going to be the last couple of turns. I might play a turn now, and then I've got more stuff that needs to be done because it's a nice day, so we've been out in the garden. But I've got people coming around tomorrow for Star Trek Ascendancy, so I need the table. So the line's been moving a little bit. Been a bit stalematey here. The Germans are sort of, well, more that the Soviets have retreated out of this area here to give them a shorter line, and they've recently counterattacked and done some damage, and I think the German armour that was here has now moved up to here to try and get through here. So this is a fairly weak German line. The Soviets can't really attack. And there's been a bit of toing and froing here, and as you can see, there's a frontline city there that's been is now a supply centre for the Germans. But the Soviets have done quite well, and they've had this supply HQ here supplying. It's been quite cool because it's been like all this has been within 4. And so they've been able to fund several attacks with a +1 shift, and a couple of times they've used a +2 shift and only funded 1 attack. And so the Soviets have been quite successful at pushing back the Germans. And so what was looking like a potential German breakthrough, and they are slowly making ground, but it's sort of been stopped. And looking down over here in the marshes, the Germans again have made very little progress, and the Soviets have actually just retreated to form a new line. I'll go around the other side so I'm not leaning over the table. And then down south of the marshes here, the Germans have been in supply now for the last couple of turns with this guy here, because they were previously way back here. So they've been able to supply offensives here. And what's that one on? -2. So this German turn, that'll be -1. And then the next one, it'll be obviously operational. So the Germans have done relatively well. They've annihilated a couple of Soviet armies that obviously aren't there anymore, and they've pushed through out of these mountains here, and they're pushing back. So I think there probably would be a bit of a breakthrough, albeit that the Soviets have got a lot of armies there. The Soviets get several armies a turn because of their huge number of personnel points, whereas the Germans only get like 2 personnel points a turn, and so they've got to be very careful because mostly they're using those to reinforce depleted armies or corps. Yeah, so it's going good. And as I said, I'll give it a bit of a nudge now and probably stop at the end of the next.